Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are pushing higher this morning, with S&P futures up 0.1%, Dow futures up 0.01%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.32%. Markets are relatively unchanged, while treasuries have gained this morning as traders await American employment data, likely to be positive considering the advances that have been made in vaccinations. As employment improves and inflationary pressures build, the upcoming payrolls reports will be seen as a gauge of how close the Fed is to tapering policy accommodation. Elsewhere in markets, WTI crude oil is trading near $75 a barrel thanks to OPEC quarrels, casting doubt on an agreement that could ease racing prices. The dollar has remained steady. Over in Europe, the Stock 600 index moved higher with gains in mining and travel firms. Over in Asia, Chinese and Hong Kong markets slipped while Japan moved higher. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, Ken, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning. They were up 0.04. Now they're up 0.11. So they are trending a little higher. As we've been talking about, the key here today is really the non-farms payroll report. It's due about 1 hour before the market opens. The results are likely to show that payrolls increased by about 710,000 jobs from last month. If it's higher, if it's significantly higher, that's going to be a problem, because that starts getting people to thinking that the Fed's going to be tightening sooner. So you got to watch this number. If it's below 700,000, well, that's a positive for the market. As long as it's not too much, that's what's going to cause the Fed to react. I'm also keeping a really close eye on oil right now, because oil's been in this tremendous bull phase all year long. And you look at what's going on with the reopenings and the demand for oil, it's skyrocketed the prices of oil this year. Now, the issue here is OPEC wants to do additional production. Russia wants to do it as well. This is the OPEC allies. You also hear them referred to as OPEC plus. Now, the United Arab Emirates came in yesterday and they stopped it. They threw a monkey wrench into the entire process. So while that report was supposed to be released yesterday, they had to postpone it till today. They have to come to an agreement. OPEC wanted to bring on another 500,000 barrels per day in production. United Arab Emirates saying no. I think that they feel it's too much. What I hear out there is it's going to come out. It's going to be 400,000 barrels per day, a little less than what was anticipated. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to oil when this OPEC announcement comes out. I also want to point out that the bond market's going to be closing a little early today. They're going to be closing at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And that's what I'm seeing this morning, Shane.
Let's go ahead and talk about earnings to watch. Obviously, there's not a whole lot going on, but Bill, is there anything we should keep our eyes peeled for?
Yeah, Price Smart next week. You got Levi Strauss next week. That's really what's coming out. There's a couple others as well that I'll be watching, but there's nothing last night. There's nothing today, and the calendar's really dried up for next week. But the following week is when we really start to show some momentum, because that's when the banks are going to start reporting. When the bank starts reporting, that's going to be good. So, right now we're just in that lull, that little dull phase in between earnings season starting and 4th of July. So let's just prepare for, the week of the 13th.
Well, let's talk about economic reports. Bill, what are we seeing for reports today?
Well, obviously at 8:30 a.m. we have the non-farms payroll report. You know what we're looking for. Also at 8:30 we have international trade in goods and services, and then at 10 o'clock we get the factory orders, and at 1 p.m. you get the Baker Hughes rig count. This has been expanding, virtually every week so far this year. So let's see what this number holds for us today at 1 p.m. when they release their figures.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Apple and Amazon, ticker AAPL, and Amazon, ticker AMZN. The companies have been hit with an antitrust investigation by Spain's CNMC. The agency said both groups could have agreed to trade restrictions on Amazon's website in Spain. They would have affected the retail sale of Apple products by third parties and the advertising of competing Apple products. The behaviors could reduce competition in the internet retail market for electronic products, and the CNMC will be trying the two companies on the infringement of the Defense of Competition and the Treaty of the Functioning of the European Union. Amazon's share price is up 0.08% in pre-market, while Apple's share price is up 0.16%. News on Charles Schwab, ticker SCHW. The company revealed this morning in filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission that it has been responding to an investigation by the SEC arising from a compliance examination. The investigation concerns historic disclosures related to Schwab Intelligent Portfolio. The company's second quarter 2021 financial results will include a liability and related non-deductible charge of $200 million. Schwab's share price is down 0.1% in pre-market. Some news on Virgin Galactic, ticker SPCE. The stock for this company is up over 30% in pre-market this morning after last night's spaceflight news. The company shared that its first crewed spaceflight will take place July 11th, just 9 days before Jeff Bezos' flight. The flight will include Richard Branson, 3 Virgin Galactic employees, and 2 pilots from the launch site in New Mexico. In other news, Marin Software, ticker MRIN, is up 16% in pre-market following a 40.5% rally yesterday as the second highest trending name on a stock social media site. In other news, Manulife, ticker MFC, is in talks to buy full control of the Chinese fund JV. News on Twitter, ticker TWTR. The company has announced as of last night that it is testing new misinformation labels for misleading tweets that are not deemed dangerous enough to remove from the platform. The company will be testing labels with color-coded backgrounds, making them more visible in the feed. Twitter share price is up 0.06% in pre-market. News on Goldman Sachs, ticker GS. The asset management arm of Goldman Sachs and Swedish investment firm EQT are nearing a deal to acquire contract research organization Parexel International for $9 billion. Lastly, for me, one on Chevron, ticker CVX. The company said that its wholly owned subsidiary Chevron Australia is as operator, and the Gorgon joint venture participants will proceed with the $4 billion Janslow Compression or JIC project. The project, which will involve the construction and installation of 27,000 tons normally unattended floating field control station, about 6,500 tons of subsea compression infrastructure, and a 135-kilometer submarine power cable linked Barrow Island. The project is estimated to take 5 years to complete. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific segments. I'm looking for hot stories. I'm looking at stories based on events. I'm looking for stories in specific industries or sectors. And when I see them, I can react quickly to see if there's any price action and kind of determine, what the opportunity is. I need to start with my FANG alert. If you remember on Monday, the state's attorneys generals had to drop their cases against Facebook, which ultimately led to Facebook shares rising. Well, that could be a silver lining for Congress because now they have the ability to re-enter their complaint against the company, and this could be much stronger, and they could make up for some of the weaknesses that they had in their original complaint. I'm looking over at Apple, and they launched their first non-developer public beta testing version of their new Mac OS 12 Monterey version yesterday. And I see that Apple and Intel are the first adopters of Taiwan Semiconductor's next generation chip production technology ahead of its release early next year. Going into my Dow Jones 30 alert, Verizon, ticker VZ, Victor Zebra. They're willing to support low-cost wireless services for 3 years if they're allowed to buy TracFone. WBA, that's Walgreens Boots Alliance, they said that its role in administering COVID-19 shots over the past 2 quarters have really helped lift its sales and profits. And Johnson & Johnson, obviously, they said that their COVID-19 vaccine elicits neutralizing activity against the Delta variant. So that's a nice positive. A couple stories to watch. This Didi, D-I-D-I, that's the ride-hailing company similar to Uber, but it's out of China. These guys are going to be added to the S&P Dow Jones Global Equity Index on July 12th. Now, their IPO was just 2 days ago, and they're already being added to a global index. That's a positive. You look at the stock; it's actually up again today. This is a nice little opportunity here. Robinhood, I see Robinhood's IPO filing, the trading app, which is set to be the busiest company to tap the U.S. IPO market this summer. They generated $522 million of revenue in the first quarter, more than quadruple its level from a year earlier. You know, that's probably a lot of that revenue is probably due to the takeoff in some of these meme stocks. A couple option headlines to kind of make note of. You know, it's really in the auto sector right now. Ford Motor Company, its ticker F is in Ford. The 30-day option implied volatility is at 43. Compare this to the 52-week range of 37 to 76. And this is happening as they're going into their expected release of their Q2 sales report. Call put ratio is 3.2 calls every one put for Ford. In Tesla, TSLA, Tom, Sam, Larry, Apple, 30-day option implied volatility is at 58 compared to the 52-week range of 47 to 129, going into their expected release of Q2 car sales. Their call put ratio is 1.5 calls to every one put. I don't have any events going on today, but those are my hot headlines for today that I saw, Shane.
Let's go ahead and talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. I'm picking Johnson & Johnson, ticker JNJ. This is off the news that they have regarding their announcement that their shot is protecting against the Delta variant. It's relatively hot news, it's current, and this could be something that's positive for them as this was just announced last night. So that's my pick. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
NCR, Nancy Charlie Richard. Used to be known as National Cash Register. This is a 137-year-old company. They're really moving over to digitization of the shopping experience. They have customers like McDonald's and Wendy's and Walmart. I mean, they operate cash machines as well. I think that they're posed to really be able to break out and get that 1% gain today. This is a big holiday weekend coming up. There's going to be a lot of shopping. And when you think about it, McDonald's and Wendy's and Walmart, they do an incredible amount of business during the 4th of July. And, these guys at NCR, they came out with a story just recently saying that they had to put software upgrades on hold because they're installing so many new systems. So I'm looking at NCR. I'm thinking that there's this opportunity for it to grab that 1% today. I'm hoping that it opens up, 46, 60 type area. And then I think it could run a little bit over 47 today. So that's my pick for today, NCR, Nancy Charlie Richard.
Let's go ahead and move into what's hot off the press. So this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak. It'll be moving the stocks today. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, Bill, which are the headlines you think we should be letting traders know about?
Kroger, ticker KR, Kilo Richard. Kroger's partnering with automation specialist Knapp for facilities update.
Here's one on General Motors, ticker GM. The company announced that it agreed to form a strategic investment and commercial collaboration with the Controlled Thermal Resources, or CTR, to secure local or low-cost lithium for electronic vehicle batteries.
CME Group, Charlie Michael Edward. CME Group reaches an average daily volume of 18.4 million contracts in Q2.
Stock watch on Elector, ticker ALEC. It's climbed 36% in pre-market today following a pact with GSK, ticker GSK, to study treatments for neurodegenerative diseases.
Ticker APLS, Apple, Paul, Larry, Sam. Citi just opened a 90-day catalyst watch on the stock ahead of trial readouts.
Moderna, ticker mRNA. Moderna has its COVID-19 vaccine has received emergency use approval in Indonesia just last night. More on Didi, ticker DIDI. The stock is trading lower after China has launched cybersecurity review of Didi Chuxing.
There's talk about HP and Xerox tie-up out there today. XRX, X-Ray Charlie, X-Ray Richard, X-Ray, and Hewlett-Packard HPQ.
The one on Hyzon Motors, ticker DCRB. The company has signed a deal to participate in a 1,000-vehicle high trucks program in Europe. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing this morning.
Same here. So that'll do it for what's hot off the press. So traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. It will definitely up your trading game. Lastly, moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Thursday. I had DraftKings, ticker DKNG, which opened at $52.27. And within the first hour, really took a jump and hit its high of $53.31, but it just didn't hold. So from there, the price dropped lower, ultimately closing at $51.80. So not a great move at the end of the day. How did yours end up doing, Bill?
I did McDonald's, ticker MCD, Michael Charlie David. Stock opened up at $231.41. It hit a high of $232.52 and closed at $232.27. So it beat the $1 gain for the day, which is really what I was expecting ahead of this holiday weekend. McDonald's is still positive. Anything in that low 200, 230 mark is really a positive on that stock.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.